Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Between Two Spines. I am Dr. Jake Grinacher, and with me as always is Dr. Joe Kerber. What do we have today, Joe?
Good stuff, as always. There's a lot of people ask us, why you guys always talk about these scans, and what are these scans? What are you guys looking for on these scans? And people that have maybe never been to a chiropractor, or that have been to chiropractors that have never scanned them before, why is it that we do them? What are we looking for?
Awesome question. So I'm so glad you got that one brought up this week. Lots of questions in one, but very good. So the scanning technology, which we'll get back to, we'll actually look at a little bit here today, not only is some of the most cutting edge technology on the planet, but it's really the hub of our practice and everything that we're looking at here. Tons and tons and tons of great chiropractors out there, there really are. But one of the things that separates us apart a little bit is that we're right in the cutting edge of all that technology, and scans is one piece of it.
Yeah. So, we do it pretty much every patient, right?
Yep.
And it's
newborn to 90, we're scanning them. So.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times we use it a lot for kind of seeing where people are progressing. It's not just a guessing game with getting adjusted.
Yep.
It's all about kind of making sure that we're progressing, not only how they feel, but actually how they're functioning. And that's really what we're looking for on those scans, is how that nervous system is kind of ticking.
Yeah. So initially what we'll do is we'll do the full set of scans. Someone that comes in, that establishes a baseline. It really kind of sets where they're at, what we kind of do to get them back up to the level they're functioning optimally, but it kind of sets that baseline. Then along the way, we'll evaluate progress evaluations or progress scans as we go, and that starts measuring kind of from an initial baseline scans to scan one, if someone is changeable, are they changing? And then we start measuring, okay, now we're seeing trends, and we're seeing adaptability, and we're seeing all these things come as they go, if we can monitor and track changes. And you nailed it, a really good thing there about the guesswork is taken out. We talk about all the time with people is that, when we set up a plan for someone, the guesswork is gone, because we're not, crunch, hope that helps, see you Monday kind of chiropractors. We're looking at the scans, diving into x-rays if we need to, and really kind of setting a timeline, and we'll know with those scans if they're on track, if we can back off a little bit, or if we need to go more into it.
And also, too, not just a new patient. It's like you said, people that haven't, they've been under care for a while, and maybe 10 or 12 visits went by, and bam, we get to see some new stuff. But also those patients that haven't been in for months or years, and we get to actually see how things have maybe regressed or stayed the same, or maybe even changed. We actually get to see how they reactivated with us.
Yep, and we call those reactivation scans. So sometimes it's been in a while, we'll take a new set of scans when they come in, just to see where they're at, to see if some of those old patterns are coming back and those kind of things.
And people always ask too, why do you scan babies? Well, they have a nervous system too, right? So it's actually really diving in and seeing, without actually diving in there, and actually seeing what's going on within that nervous system. Like you said, how dynamic are they? What do things look like? How inflamed are they? So.
And that's the neat thing when we kind of talk about function more than feeling, is that it really gives us that peek into how their body's actually functioning, so we can see how that stuff looks, not just on a day-to-day, how are you feeling, we can see how the whole body is running. It's really some of the most amazing technology on the planet.
Yeah, and it doesn't tell you, like we always go over this stuff with people, it doesn't tell you how you feel. That's how you guys feel. The other 90% of your nervous system is functionality, so how that stuff really is functioning, you actually get to see it on you guys.
So it's pretty exciting stuff. So what we're going to do is actually, Joe and I are going to go back there. We're going to show you guys the scans and how they work, and then we'll come back up here. We'll talk about an actual printout of what we get out from the scans and what they look like. All right, guys, so we're back here with the scans. I'm going to clear this out so you guys can see what we're doing here a little bit. The big thing with the scans is there's 3 different scans that we're looking at. The first one we have a lot of people do when they kind of get here is something called a pulse wave profiler. This is looking at your heart rate variability. Really easy to do. All you need to do is slide 3 fingers into the scan, and what this is measuring is your body's ability to adapt and change, which is really cool. It sits on your finger for about 5 minutes. You don't have to do anything but sit here and relax. It comes up with some really cool data, which we'll touch on up front here in a little bit. But all you need to do is sit here with this one in your hand for about 5 minutes as we go through there. The next 2 scans we go through, this one being a thermal scanner. What it does, it rolls up your spine. And as it rolls through there, it measures deep heat along the spine through infrared technology, and maps out thermal changes as we go through here to look at more autonomic function, how the body's doing that way as we go through this one. This one literally just scans right up the back as we go through there. Maybe takes a minute or less probably to run that scan as we go through there. And the last one being surface EMG, where these little sensors here will sit right on the skin as we go through there to track and measure changes with muscle and some of that pull that's happening along the spine. Not do I have muscle soreness or those kind of things, but how is it stabilizing the spine, how's it pulling, what's the total amount of energy that's happening there to see if you're utilizing enough energy as we go through. But again, that one just starts at the top and works our way down as we go through there to get the scans as we come out. So anything else to add there, Joe, about the scans?
Yeah, it sums it up right there.
So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll head back up front. I'll print off a sample set of scans so we can look through what we're actually looking at as we go through the scans. All right, everybody, so after we get those scans and then we showed you in the back, we're going to kind of walk through kind of what comes out of that and the printouts that come through. So the really cool thing is, if you can kind of see this here, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of here. This is, it's 8 different pieces of data or scan technology that comes out of there that we get to now go through, walk through, really dive deep into what's going on with you so we can make the most sense out of it. We got this thermal scan that we talked a little bit about back there. We got the HRV, which we talked a little bit, and then the surface EMG all prints out this really cool stuff. If it's a baby, newborn infant, a lot of times what we'll do is sometimes with kids too, up until maybe 5 years old or so, we'll get the thermal ones done. This is just what the thermal scan looks like and the patterning. And Joe, we can kind of touch base on this a little bit.
Yeah, so pretty much what we want to see with kids or with anyone that we scan is that you see that the little white dots, or white bars, and then there's also a green bar, and the white actually determines that there's actually maybe no interference or anything on that nervous system. There's a green one, and that's a mild amount of that interference. Mm-hmm. And then the blue, it's a moderate amount, and then you have a red, and you can actually probably see that from there. That's a pretty severe amount. There are some people that have a little bit more kind of black, and that is off the charts, kind of just can't even register. It's so far bad.
And
English.
And the nice thing about that is it's easy to kind of see with the colors and stuff. But what you and I are looking at more, and we're getting into more detail, is the patterning, and you can see that patterning down here. We'd like to see is this green line plastered right along that black line as we go through there. Any breaks that we see in that green line are these big swings one way or the other. It lets us know that patterning in your nerve function is off, and we need to start balancing that. So patterning is a bigger thing to look at, especially with those re-exams, progress exams that come up. Is what we're doing is we're tracking the pattern and the change, and we can see that pattern and start to normalize. So these are those scans. The cool thing with an adult is as they come out, we get this really cool technology called this core score, and that what gives us is numerical grades based on where you sit as we go through there. Really shooting for someone to be at an 80 and up, meaning that they're living their life well, and we once we get to that point, we talk about how we can keep you there. But it kind of gives all these grades based out of 100. We don't beat anybody up based on their scans. It's just a baseline, and we'll monitor and track change. So,
and it's really, really kind of cool that we can see people that start in the 50s and creep their way up towards 80. And once we get to that 80 point, we typically like to say we like to try and maintain you above that, kind of give you a B and keep you at that B level. That's very cool stuff. So.
One of the other scans here is the surface EMG scan. What we're looking for here, this one might be a little bit harder to see, but we're looking for this nice hourglass shape through there. And we see these big breaks in the pattern again, which is important. We start to see those problems. And the best way to put it, and I've yet to think of a good analogy on this, but if you think about this as kind of the water in your garden, and if there's way too much break outside of that hourglass, it's like you're flooding your garden. If you see a big break inside of it, that means it's drought, and we're seeing that stuff. So we're looking for that nice pattern through there. Also some really cool numbers, which I know you can't see, but some numbering over here that gives us a sense of your total amount of energy, how efficient your system's running, a lot of those kind of things. One things that we see with really off scan is a lot of fatigue, not only muscle fatigue, but general fatigue, and that's a big one as we look through here as we can go through there. And then the last one being HRV. One of the neatest scans that we're looking at is actually heart rate variability. It's looked at through the pulse wave profiler. We want to see the dot land right inside the green box, and that's going to show us chronicity, how long it's been there, your body's ability to adapt and change, as well as maybe how long it'll take to kind of get you through there.
But also what we do is we take these initial scans and we say, great, these are your initial ones. Let's kind of progress and maybe 10 visits down the road, do another one.
Recheck.
Compare the two different scans, or I guess the 2 different days of scans. And say, hey, where do we kind of get from point A to point B? Typically, we see a lot of really cool stuff, bedwetting stuff. And we see that those numbers dropping really big time.
So I think the big thing with this is that Joe and I, as you could probably tell, could probably talk about these scans and this scanning technology for 3 hours. This could literally be a 3 hour between 2 spines. The bottom line is that we're not guessing. That we're going to get to the bottom of whatever's going on with you. We care that much, and that we're going to find out, not only initially, but so that we're not guessing as we go forward, that we're going to track every step that you make along the way. So we might have 4, 5, 6 sets of scans here that we can document, show your progress. Not only high five you about, but you can put these on your fridge, show everybody how great you're doing, that kind of stuff. So
laminate them.
Yes, bring them to work and school. bottom line with this stuff though is that we're here for you and we're not going to guess. So we always have this stuff available for you guys that are maybe interested in chiropractic care, looking for a change in chiropractic care and want to utilize this technology. We're always here. And for those of you that are coming here, you know all about these. So
And if you haven't been in for a while, guess what?
come on in,
Probably
we'll
a
get a
good
new
idea to
set of
get
scans for you.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So thanks guys for tuning in. Until next week, take care. Lyle is going to kill me. I use the term rescan probably 2 or 3 times. Oh!
Oh my god.
Alright, so now now we're scanning people in the back. They have printouts here.
Dr. Jake, what are you doing?
Dr. Joe said it was time for my rescans today. Is this... Alright. Back into it. So,
Clark Kent.
yeah. Until next week, take care. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't suck too bad.